You know what really turns a man's head. It's not the dress you wear, it's not the makeup on your face, and it's not even the words you say. It's the way you carry yourself when you think nobody's watching. That's what gets his attention. See, confidence isn't about performing, it's not about putting on a show, it's about presence. It's about walking into a room without shrinking, about standing tall without even trying, about looking someone in the eye like you deserve to be there. Because you do. Here's the truth. Men are incredibly tuned into energy. They may not always be able to explain it, but they can feel it. And when a woman enters a space with a quiet, steady confidence, it shifts everything. He notices it before you even open your mouth. It's the way you sit at the table without fidgeting, the way you don't apologize for existing, the way your voice carries without needing to be loud. That subtle strength. It's magnetic. Now let me make this clear. Confidence isn't arrogance. It's not walking around with your nose in the air, and it's not about proving you're better than anyone else. Confidence is calm. It's grounded. It's knowing who you are and being comfortable in your own skin, whether you're dressed to the nines or in sweatpants at the grocery store. It's the kind of self-assurance that says, I don't need to impress you, but I'm also not afraid to be seen. That balance is powerful. Think about it this way. When a man meets a woman who is overly concerned with how she's being perceived, checking her phone, adjusting her clothes, explaining herself too much, what he picks up on is insecurity. And insecurity doesn't spark attraction, it drains it. But when he meets a woman who is at ease, who doesn't try to fill every silence with chatter, who can sit comfortably without needing external validation, that calm draws him in. It makes him wonder about you. It makes him want to know more. Confidence also shows up in your body language. The way you hold your shoulders, the way you take up space, the way you make eye contact without darting away. Even the way you smile, or choose not to. It's not forced, it's not desperate, it's just real. And here's the secret. Men can feel the difference between someone who is performing and someone who is simply present. When you stop trying to win approval and start owning your space, you radiate a different kind of energy. That energy, that's what lights him up. And let me say this. You don't have to be the loudest person in the room to have presence. Some of the most confident women are the quietest. They don't need to dominate a conversation to make an impact because their confidence doesn't scream. It resonates. It shows in the way they listen fully, in the way they speak when they're ready, in the way they don't rush or chase. That patience, that steadiness is incredibly attractive. Men are wired to be drawn towards strength they can feel but not touch. When you embody confidence, you become that strength. And here's the part most people miss. You don't build confidence by waiting for someone to validate you. You build it by practicing it, by choosing to stand tall, by deciding not to over-explain yourself, by walking into that room and owning the fact that you belong there. The more you practice presence, the more natural it becomes. So, the first hidden thing that turns a man on without you ever laying a hand on him is your confidence. Not the kind you post about, not the kind you try to convince yourself of, but the kind you live out in the everyday moments. The way you walk, the way you breathe, the way you simply exist without apology. That's the kind of confidence that doesn't just catch his eye, it keeps his attention. Here's something a lot of people get wrong about attraction. They think the way to keep a man interested is to give him everything up front, to tell him every story, every detail, every part of who you are as soon as possible. But that doesn't build attraction. That satisfies curiosity too quickly. What actually pulls a man in is when you share yourself in layers, like a good book that makes him want to turn the page instead of skipping to the end. Men are wired to chase, to lean forward when there's something they don't fully understand yet. When you leave a little room for mystery, you create that natural pull, and I don't mean playing games. I don't mean withholding the truth or pretending to be someone you're not. I'm talking about being selective in what you share and when you share it. Because when everything is laid out on the table from the start, there's no anticipation, there's no reason to lean in. But when you allow things to unfold naturally, he becomes invested in the process of discovering you. Think about it. If you meet someone and within the first hour they've told you their entire life story, there's nothing left to wonder about. But if they give you pieces, just enough to spark your interest, you find yourself thinking about them long after they've walked away. That's what happens with men. When you don't hand over every piece of yourself too quickly, you stay on his mind. He replays your words. He notices the details you did share. He imagines what else is beneath the surface. That imagination, that's powerful. Men are not only attracted to beauty or charm, they are deeply drawn to curiosity. They want to figure things out, to connect dots, to discover the deeper layers. And when you reveal yourself little by little, you give him the gift of pursuit. You give him the space to engage, to ask questions, to actually listen, and to earn the right to know you more. That sense of discovery builds attraction stronger than anything else. Now let me be clear, mystery is not manipulation. It's not about playing hard to get or acting uninterested. It's about self-respect. It's about knowing that your story is valuable, that your thoughts and experiences are precious, and that not everyone deserves full access to them right away. You're not hiding who you are. You're simply not rushing to hand over everything at once. That pacing creates depth, and here's where a lot of women get tripped up. They think if they don't share everything quickly, he'll lose interest. But the opposite is true. When you show up fully yourself, honest, real, but intentional about what you reveal, you hold his attention longer. Because mystery isn't about what you're not saying, it's about how you carry what you do say. It's in the way you answer a question with a story that leaves him curious about the next chapter. It's in the way you listen without oversharing. It's in the way you smile like you know something he hasn't learned yet. And let's be honest, mystery also requires confidence. It takes selfish assurance to not fill every silence, to not explain yourself into exhaustion, to let someone wonder about you without rushing to correct or overdefine. That patience makes a man lean in. That restraint makes him realize there's more to you than meets the eye, and that realization keeps him hooked. So, the second hidden thing that turns a man on without you ever touching him is mystery, not the kind that confuses, but the kind that intrigues, the kind that leaves him curious, hungry, and eager to discover more of you with every interaction. One of the most overlooked things that draws a man closer has nothing to do with appearance or even words. It's emotional stability. Now, a lot of people hear that and think it means being emotionless or suppressing what you feel. That's not it at all. Emotional stability is about creating a sense of calm, a kind of steady energy that a man feels when he's around you. It's the difference between chaos and peace, and trust me, peace is magnetic. Men live in a world where they're constantly under pressure to perform, to provide, to prove themselves. And when he steps into your presence, what he notices first is how he feels around you. Does he feel like he has to walk on eggshells, constantly guessing how you're going to react? Or does he feel safe enough to breathe, to let down his guard, to simply be? That emotional environment you create is either pulling him in or pushing him away, whether you realize it or not. Emotional stability shows up in the way you handle conflict. It's the way you can disagree without blowing up, the way you can express disappointment without destroying the connection. It's in those moments where most people lose control, raise their voice, shut down, lash out, but you choose to stay centered. That doesn't mean you're passive. It doesn't mean you don't stand up for yourself. It means you're in control of your emotions instead of letting them control you. And that control is not weakness, it's strength. See, men are not drawn to drama, they're drawn to peace. A woman who can communicate her feelings with honesty and clarity, without spiraling into chaos, signals maturity. She signals safety. And safety is something men don't always admit they crave, but deep down they do. Because safety doesn't feel boring. It feels freeing. It feels like he can finally stop pretending, stop performing, and just be himself. That kind of emotional environment is rare, and that's why it's so attractive. And here's the thing, emotional stability doesn't mean you never feel angry, sad, or hurt. It means you don't let those feelings own you. You can express them without losing yourself in them. You can have a bad day without making the entire relationship unstable. You can set boundaries without turning them into ultimatums. That steady presence tells a man, I can trust her, I can lean on her, I can build with her. And that's exactly what keeps him close. Now, this isn't just about relationships. Think about how people respond to you in general. When you carry calm into a room, others mirror it. When you bring panic, others feel it too. Men are no different. If you want to draw him in without even touching him, be the calm in his storm. Show him that his world doesn't fall apart in your hands, it steadies. That sense of balance, that emotional consistency, becomes something he doesn't want to lose. What most don't realize is that emotional stability is one of the most powerful forms of attraction because it builds trust. And attraction without trust fades fast. But when a man knows you won't crumble at every inconvenience, when he knows you can handle life without falling into extremes, that's when he starts to envision a future. That's when he looks at you and sees not just beauty, not just charm, but a partner he can rely on. So, the third hidden thing that turns a man on without you ever laying a hand on him is emotional stability. The kind of calm that makes him feel safe, seen, and steady in your presence. If there's one thing that surprises people when I talk about attraction, it's how much playfulness and humor matter. You'd think men are only drawn to seriousness, to confidence, to depth. And yes, those things are important. But do you know what cuts straight through all the noise? Joy, laughter, that lightness in the way you interact that makes everything feel less heavy. Playfulness isn't about cracking jokes every second. It's about the energy you bring. It's about reminding him that life isn't only about responsibility, it's also about fun. Think about the people you love being around the most. Chances are they make you laugh. They don't take themselves too seriously. They can laugh at the little things, and they help you forget the stress that's waiting outside the door. That's exactly what happens when a man meets a woman who carries playfulness. She doesn't have to be a comedian. She doesn't have to know how to deliver punchlines. It's the way she can find humor in small moments, the way she can tease without being cruel, the way she can laugh with him instead of at him. That creates a bond that goes beyond surface level attraction. Playfulness also breaks tension. When there's awkward silence, when a moment feels too intense, humor has a way of easing the pressure. It makes the space between two people feel safer. A playful smile, a witty comment, or a light tease shows him that you're comfortable with yourself, and that comfort makes him relax. And when he relaxes around you, he lets his guard down. That's when you see who he really is. That's when the connection deepens. But let's be clear, playfulness isn't immaturity. It's not acting childish or refusing to take life seriously. It's the ability to balance depth with lightness. A man might admire your drive, your intelligence, your confidence, but what makes him crave your presence is when you also know how to laugh. It's when you don't let stress steal every smile, when you can dance in the kitchen just because, when you can make fun of yourself instead of hiding every flaw. That kind of joy is contagious, and men are drawn to it because it feels real. Playfulness also signals that you enjoy the moment, and nothing is more attractive than someone who knows how to be present. When you laugh together, when you share an inside joke, when you find humor in an ordinary situation, it creates memories. Those are the moments he replays in his head when he's alone. Not just how you looked, not just what you said, but how you made him feel lighter, freer, more alive. And here's the deeper truth. Playfulness builds intimacy. When you laugh with someone, you lower walls. You're not guarded, you're not posturing, you're not performing. You're just being. That authenticity draws him in because it gives him permission to be real too. Men carry a lot of weight, and when you show him that with you, he doesn't have to carry it all. He can laugh, he can be silly, he can enjoy. He'll want more of that, because attraction isn't just about passion, it's about relief. It's about who makes life feel lighter. So don't underestimate the power of laughter, of teasing him playfully, of letting yourself be goofy at times. Those little moments of joy become the glue that holds deeper attraction together. Because the fourth hidden thing that turns a man on without you ever touching him is playfulness. The kind of humor and joy that makes him want to stay in your presence as long as he can. One of the most powerful things that captures a man's attention has nothing to do with what you give him. It's what you won't give away too easily. Respect for yourself and your standards is not just attractive, it's magnetic. A lot of people think setting boundaries will push men away, but the truth is, it does the exact opposite. When a man sees you value yourself enough to say no, when he sees you won't compromise your worth for temporary validation, that's when his respect for you deepens. And respect is the foundation of real attraction. Men are observant. They pay attention not just to how you treat them, but to how you treat yourself. If you tolerate disrespect, if you accept crumbs, if you lower your standards just to keep someone around, it communicates that you don't see your own value. And if you don't see it, why should he? On the other hand, when you live by the standards you've set, when you refuse to bend on what matters, he understands you're not someone who can be swayed with charm or surface-level attention. That makes you rare. That makes you unforgettable. Respecting yourself also shows up in the way you manage your time and energy. A woman who knows her value doesn't drop everything at the first ring of his phone. She doesn't abandon her priorities to prove she cares. She balances giving with protecting her space, and when a man sees that, it doesn't turn him off. It actually makes him lean in, because it tells him your life is full, it's meaningful, and if he wants a place in it, he has to come correct. He has to match the value you place on yourself. Now let me clear something up. Having standards doesn't mean being cold, harsh, or difficult. It doesn't mean building walls so high no one can reach you. It's not about shutting people out. It's about guiding the way they treat you. Boundaries are not barriers, they're invitations. They say, this is how I expect to be treated if you want access to me. And the right man won't see that as a burden. He'll see it as direction. He'll rise to it because respect inspires effort. And here's something important. Men test what they value. Sometimes without even realizing it, they'll push to see how far they can go. Not because they want to disrespect you, but because they want to understand where the line is. When you stand firm, when you don't allow excuses or empty promises to override your standards, you're teaching him something. You're teaching him that being with you requires consistency, responsibility, and genuine effort. That lesson, once learned, only deepens his attraction. A lot of women worry that saying no will scare him off, but if a no makes him disappear, he was never going to stay. Your boundaries don't drive the right man away. They filter out the wrong ones. And that filter is a gift, because it saves you from pouring your energy into someone who was never willing to respect you in the first place. The man who truly values you won't run from your standards. He'll be drawn to them because they reflect the strength and self-worth he admires. So when it comes down to it, one of the strongest ways to turn a man on without ever touching him is to hold your ground, to respect yourself so deeply that it demands his respect too. Because attraction isn't just about how he feels when he looks at you. It's about how he feels when he realizes he can't afford to lose you. There's something incredibly powerful about a woman who is lit up by her own life. A woman who doesn't wait for someone else to hand her purpose, but instead wakes up with drive, with passion, with things she's building and creating for herself. Men are drawn to that in ways they often can't even explain. Passion is magnetic because it shows independence. It shows that you are fulfilled within yourself, and that fulfillment is far more attractive than needing someone else to fill every empty space. Think about it. When you meet someone who talks about their goals, who lights up when they describe what they love, who has hobbies, dreams, and things that give them energy, you lean in. You can feel that spark. You can feel their aliveness. Men feel the same way. When a man sees a woman chasing her dreams, when he sees her investing in herself, when he sees her excited about her own journey, it inspires him. It doesn't intimidate the right man. It energizes him. He wants to be a part of that fire, not the source of it, but someone who adds to it. Now, here's why this matters so much. A lot of women unknowingly lose themselves in relationships. They give up the things that once brought them joy, they put their dreams on pause, and they expect the relationship itself to be their main source of fulfillment. But here's the hard truth: no one person can carry that weight. When your whole life revolves around a man, it doesn't draw him in. It pushes him away, because attraction grows when he sees you're already whole. You don't need him to give you meaning, you already have it. That creates desire. Passion also speaks to resilience. It shows that you're not stagnant, you're not stuck waiting for life to happen, you're actively shaping it. Whether it's your career, your art, your faith, your fitness, or even simple hobbies, having something that excites you makes you magnetic, because passion is contagious. When you talk about what lights you up, your energy shifts. Your eyes brighten, your voice changes, and that natural enthusiasm is incredibly attractive. Men notice that. They feel that. It draws them in without you even trying. And let me say this, it doesn't have to be something grand. You don't need to be running a business, traveling the world, or chasing some massive goal to have passion. It could be as simple as the way you love cooking, the way you care for your family, the way you read and learn, the way you create beauty in small things. What matters isn't the size of your passion, it's the authenticity of it. Do you genuinely enjoy it? Does it make you feel alive? If the answer is yes, that energy will radiate and he'll feel it. What most people don't realize is that men want to admire the woman they're with. They want to be inspired by her, to see her strength, to watch her chase something that matters to her. Because admiration feeds attraction. And when he sees you living your life with passion, he doesn't just see someone to date. He sees someone to build with, someone to grow alongside. That vision of partnership is what keeps him invested long term. So the sixth hidden thing that turns a man on without you ever touching him is passion. The fire you carry for your own life, your own dreams, and your own purpose. That energy doesn't just attract him, it makes him want to stay close enough to feel the warmth of it every single day.